What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. Be a part of the biggest and best daily baseball show on YouTube. And now, without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Julio Teheran, who had 5 Ks in 6 1/3 innings, giving up 2 runs. He really relied on his mix of 4-seamers and 2-seamers, and had this front door 2-seamer that broke 19 inches. He battled Andrew Abbott, who made his major league debut, and what a debut it was. He had 6 strikeouts in 6 scoreless innings, giving up only 1 hit. He became the first left-handed pitcher to debut in the majors with 6 scoreless innings, 6 or more Ks, and no more than 1 hit in the history of baseball. He relied mostly on his curveball and fastball, and I expect big things out of Abbott. He's the Reds' top pitching prospect and had 90 Ks in 54 innings this year in the minor leagues. Johan Oviedo had these sliders and got a sword and had 5 Ks in 7 innings, giving up only 2 earned runs. He faced J.P. Sears, who had 6 Ks in 4 2/3 innings. He got a sword on this sweeper and had this elevated slider and painted slider, as well as his changeup. Martin Perez went 7 innings, giving up no earned runs, and had 5 Ks, and had this changeup and painted 2-seamer. He faced Adam Wainwright, who had 3 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 3 runs, and had this fastball. Brandon Bielak had 2 Ks in 6 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs on 10 hits, and one of those Ks came on this nasty changeup. Braxton Garrett had 6 Ks in 5 innings. He did give up 4 runs, but got his Ks on wicked sliders and sinkers. He faced Carlos Hernandez, who had Ks on this 100-mile-an-hour fastball, a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and an 89-mile-an-hour slider. Hernandez averages 99.1 miles an hour on his fastball, which is 6th in the major leagues. First is Yohan Duran at 101.9 miles an hour. Brian Bayo had 5 Ks in 6 innings. He did give up 3 runs and relied on his mix of fastballs, sliders, and beautiful changeups. Here are a couple of ISOs of the movement of his slider and changeup, and you can really see how filthy that changeup is. And here's a 3-pitch overlay, so you can see the movement of all of those pitches, and this was all from 1 at-bat. You can see how well he repeats his mechanics and how far apart these pitches end up, forming that triangle of death. Bayo battled Shane McClanahan, who had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up only 1 run. He had some filthy sliders and painted with this one. And here's an overlay of his fastball and curveball. And you can see how that curveball looks like a fastball just as you're ready to swing, but then dives out of your swing path. McClanahan's ERA this year is now 2.02, and his effectiveness is in large part due to his mechanics. It's almost like he jumps at hitters, and this helps his extension to be over 7 feet, which is 1.15 times his height, because he's only 6'1". And that ratio is one of the highest in baseball. This helps with effective velocity because he releases his fastball a little closer to home plate, giving hitters a little less time to make a decision. I talked to Shane about his leaping mechanics. There's a leap to your mechanics, and I don't know if you do it, if that's something you practiced, but your lower half, some pitchers just are into rotating. You have a little jump to it. And I know that probably feels like a hitter, like you're attacking them, which it probably has a secondary effect. Has anybody told you that? Is that something you practiced? How did that develop?
Well, to me, truthfully, all it feels like I'm doing is just pushing off the mound. Like it just feels natural. I just, once that knee gets to the max knee height, just drive down the mound. Like, me and Snyder have not a lot, but a couple of cues that really helps me focus, downstream and, be directional. Like, have everything going towards home plate, no wasted movement left, right. And, so once that knee gets to the max leg or max knee height, just drive down the mound. And to be honest with you, I see it. I'm like, man, am I jumping? But to me, it doesn't feel that way. It just feels like I'm pushing.
Blake Snell had 8 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 hits and no runs. He had this devastating mix of fastballs, sliders, and curveballs, and Phil Cuzzy's strike zone. Here's an overlay of his 96-mile-an-hour fastball and 89-mile-an-hour slider. And this really shows why that pair is so tough. Those pitches are on pretty much the exact same trajectory, but that slider is 7 miles an hour slower and has a little bit sharper drop. Snell outdueled Kyle Hendricks, who had this two-seamer and cut change and had 4 Ks in 6 innings but gave up 4 runs. Joey Wentz had these cutters and had 4 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, giving up 5 earned runs. And he faced yesterday's filthiest starting pitcher of the day, Aaron Nola. Nola had 12 strikeouts in 7 innings, giving up no earned runs and only 1 hit. He made a big adjustment in his pitch mix this game, throwing 0 cutters, when normally he throws his cutter about 12%. Instead, yesterday he was really focused on fastball command. And here's a chart of his fastballs, and you can see none of them were in the middle. To get his Ks, Nola relied on that fastball as well as his knuckle curve, some timer violations, they're always filthy, and had these crazy beautiful two-seamers, including this painted backdoor two-seamer that ran 20 inches and this front door two-seamer that ran 19 inches. You think you're going to wear it in your hip, and it ends up in the zone. Those are some of my personal favorites. Now on to my filthiest relievers. Jason Adam had these nasty change-ups. Will Smith had this wicked slider. Sir Anthony Dominguez got a swing at this slider in the other batter's box from Javi Baez. I just think Baez sometimes thinks his bat is much longer than it actually is. Like instead of a 34-inch bat, he thinks he's swinging an 84-inch bat. Chase Holderman had this nasty slider. Steven Wilson had this sweeper. Lucas Ursig had this slider. Jay Jackson had this wicked slider. Ryan Stanek had these overpowering 99-mile-an-hour fastballs. Ryan Helsley had this White Castle special, as well as this overpowering 100-mile-an-hour fastball. But my filthiest reliever from yesterday, cue the saxophone, was Alexis Diaz. In case you don't get the reference, Alexis is Edwin's brother. Edwin has those trumpets, so Alexis needs a saxophone. Anyway, Alexis Diaz K'd the side on these fastballs and sliders and had this Bohemian Rhapsody fastball. Mama, he just killed a man. And you can see his soul ascend to the heavens.
Just killed a man.
That's right, welcome back to Dong of the Week, the one time you get to see hitters not being just completely embarrassed on the Pitching Ninja show. This week we're going to start off yet again with the long dong legend Ronald Acuna. And let me tell you something, guys, I don't feature Acuna here almost every single week because I want to. I do it because I have to. Next we're going down to the south side. We got Mike Trout here hitting this ball 476. Yeah, there are some reports that it was 461, but over at Long Dong of the Week, we don't care for those. Trout smashes this ball, and 2 innings later, his boy Shohei comes up and hits this one 425, but he's not getting on Long Dong of the Week for hitting 425. He's getting the Long Dong of the Week because he hit this ball 478.
Oh, man!
Shohei's longest of the year. It's nice to see Mike and Shohei hitting a bunch of dongs in the same game while we still can. Lance isn't psyched about it. That's your Dong of the Week.
And now, my Pitching Ninja moment of zen. I love Alek Manoah and hope he rights his ship soon. But I know some of y'all probably say Manoah blows, and yesterday he actually did. Literally. He tried to blow this bunt foul, reminding me of the legendary Lenny Randle maneuver. What a boss move. What is up, everybody? My picks of the day today are a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to start out with Logan Gilbert for 6 Ks or more, then take Jesus Luzardo, the Jesus Lizard, for 7 Ks or more, and top it off with Mitch Keller for 8 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?